Hello everybody, my name is Adrian and I'm going to go through some ankle mobility and balance exercises to strengthen the knees, mobilize the hips and the ankles as well. I'm going to be using this piece of kit as well. This is called a hog. It's like a half foam roller with prickles on the top, and you can use it for many different exercises. Excellent piece of kit to get, especially if you're a Pilates instructor and you're looking for something a little cheaper to use rather than buying expensive equipment. Okay, so I'm doing this barefoot. As you can see, I prefer you to do this barefoot. Little disclaimer out there, if you're watching this, please make sure you do the most suitable options for you, especially in terms of arthritis, balance, etc. Please make sure you have a wall or a chair to use as a balance aid. Brilliant. Right, so we're going to start off with the feet about hip distance apart. Look down, check that all 10 toes are facing forwards as best as you can for your body. Some people are naturally have feet slightly turned out like so. You want the ankles to slightly pull away from each other as well, so we don't want to get that sort of internal dip inwards, okay, or pronation through the feet. So I'm imagining that I have those magnets and they are pressing away from each other. We're going to stand up nice and tall. You're going to roll your shoulders up, back and down. Gently draw the abdominals in and lift up and out through the crown of the head. And we want the energy of the hands pressing down towards the earth. Right, so I'm going to start off with a little heel raise on the right and then the left. Yes, I'm going to try and keep my pelvis nice and level as I do this. Notice I'm working through the big toe joints, the metatarsals, the toes. If the big toe joint becomes a little less functional, the foot pattern's not as great, so then maybe you start to shuffle and you use the wrong muscles to walk with. So it's highly important we keep those feet, the toes, mobile, hence why I'm doing this video. I just find it so important these days. I'm sure you've also seen in the papers, etc., there's been studies on balance. So standing on one leg, really important, do it every day. Obviously both legs, not just one. Right, now what we're going to do, if you found that okay and you were happy with that, stay with that. If you want a bit more of a challenge, you're going to hover onto your heels, onto your toes, pardon me, so your heels are lifted off the floor, and we're going to do what's called a foot pedal. Now anyone can race these. I would like you to go pretty slow with these and just checking in how slow and controlled you can do this. The heels meet at the highest point. This exercise is often taught in footwork on the reformer as well. Really good for ankle mobility, ankle strength. And check your knees are tracking forwards as you do this. Good, keep it moving. Let's keep that chin level to the ground. Just breathe normally. Try and avoid swaying your hips. You want to try and keep those hips as still and stable as possible. Great, now let's do one side. Lift up and down. 2, this is quite tricky. And 3, let's do the other side. Down, up, down, up, down, up, and bring it down. Great. Now look down at your feet again. I want you to fan all 10 toes and then release them. So you're doing that with your toes. Right, so checking the posture, have a little look down, check out, and then look back up to the screen to me, and you fanning through your toes. So you're doing that with your toes. Good. So do that a few times. Let's do a couple more. And then release that. Brilliant. Now, the next one, especially if you have pretty sensitive toe joints, I would recommend just maybe a very small heel raise as an option. I'm going to turn on a slight diagonal for this one. So you're going to lift up, and then you're going to go over onto your toes, then come back, and then lower down, switch sides. So lift up, then over on the toes. Notice my big toe joints click a lot when I do that. So you come up and press it forwards and then down. This is something, if you've never done this before, don't force it. Just stick with the first option, which is that, yeah? And then that's obviously going to go more advanced if you're used to that. Because I have done some dancing in the past. I'm pretty used to doing that with my toes. So for me, it's okay. So someone new to this maybe wouldn't do that as your first time doing this exercise. So please stick what feels suitable for you. And then release that. Great. Give those feet a little bit of a shake out. So now what I want us to do, For me, squats are always a challenge because my ankles are pretty tight, my Achilles and my hips. So I need to get focus on mobilizing my ankles. So we're going to check out our squats first. So try to sit your bum back and get down as far as you can for your body today. We want to avoid the knees doing that as we squat, to try and track the knees forwards. It's a nice dynamic alignment, that is good. And sit your bum back. Great, so the butt goes back before we descend. Try and keep that chest up as much as you can. Obviously in the narrower stance, it's harder to keep the chest lifted. Great, okay, so this is where I come into using this piece of kit. Now if you don't have this, you could use a yoga block if you wanted to. So as you can see, I'm going to have it this way. I'll actually turn on a little diagonal for you here. And I'm going to place the right foot. So I'm going to take it a few prickles up, like so. And I'm going to have my left foot next to me, not directly to the side, but slightly back. I'm going to keep my chest up, my shoulders low, and I'm going to start to bend my knee, the right knee, and I'm going to start to shift my torso forwards. The torso. And do you notice your ankles, your calf, your shin? Maybe something's going on around there. And it's shift that weight forwards. Yes, as you bend your knee. Progression from here, you would go maybe front, and then on a slight diagonal, and then front, and then the other diagonal. So it's working in different angles now. Because in daily living, we don't just walk that way. We need to be able to move in all different directions and then release that. Let's do the same on the other foot. So I'm going to place my foot up. This is also a point to note. If you've got a brand new hog, you may need to put a towel over it because the prickles will still be, they're not sharp, they're just, harder. So, like when you get a foam roller for the first time, you need to just be a little bit mindful of how it feels on the bottom of your feet. Sometimes people's feet are really sensitive. So just check that out. And once again, trying to shift your weight directly forwards. So you're going through the tunnel. You can't go this way. And breathe. Just allowing those ankles to loosen up. And then start to move it to one side, then back to the middle, and then the other side. This is obviously all dependent on your knees. If you've got very excruciating knee pain, obviously be mindful with how much your range is with this movement. And then release that. Great. Okay, so what we're going to do from there, I'm going to face you again, is now I'm going to stand on top of this hog. So I'm barefoot. This is pretty, so it is quite sensitive. So let's just take a moment to settle on top of that hog. Hold it there. And try not to once again let the ankles deviate in. So you want to think of pulling those ankles away from each other. And just take a moment, let gravity be your friend. And then can you, I'm not very good at this, start to bend your knees and squat down. And then come up. Let's go again. So sit your bum back. And then come up. I'm going to add a breathing pattern here. I'm going to inhale lower. And I'm going to exhale lift up. Let's do a couple more here. Let's do one more. And then release that. Now we're going to raise the heels. So we're going to do a squat with the heels raised. I'm going to turn this on a diag again for you. And just make sure, just watch for trip hazards. I'm going to take my heel up about 4 or 5 prickles. And I'm going to have the balls of the feet down. And I'm just going to take a moment to settle here. So I've got my weight evenly through my heels, my big toe, baby toe, and heel like a tripod of pressure into the ground. The arms are to the sides of the body. And I'm going to track my knees forwards and I'm going to sit my hips back. And then I'm going to come up. I can do a deeper squat with my heels raised. I don't know if you've ever seen when some people are doing squats, they have either the Metcon shoes on or they've got 2 plates under their heels just to raise their heels to allow them to descend a little bit lower. Helps with motor function because sometimes the body's thinking, oh, I can't go that low. But this helps to retrain that, doesn't it? And I think this is excellent. And it's definitely working through my quads here at the front. I can feel it in the front of my thighs. And that helps with knee health as well. So let's have the eye gaze on the horizon and start to go a little deeper. Work within your range. Everyone's range is different here. And I'm going to test myself. I'm going to see how low I can go. I could not, folks, do this on the ground, just saying, with my feet flat. Because my ankles need to mobilize, and hence why I love the hog. Going down and coming up. Butt goes back, chest is lifted. Beautiful. Let's do one more here. And then come up. See how much knee flexion I had then. Let's step off the vehicle. Just be careful. I'm coming around. I'm going to do the other way. And this is something my boss taught me. Really brilliant exercise. So having your toes lifted for people who don't really sit their hips back when they squat. And they do more of a namaste hinge forwards from the hip here. We need to be able to sit the bum back. And this forces you to shift your hips back. Can you see what's happening there? So I'm shifting my hips back and then I come back up. And already I'm feeling pretty warm doing all this stuff. No jumping jacks, no running around. So that's good. Let's do one more and then release that. Right, so let's move the hog out the way or your block. And let's try a squat again. Try and have your feet about hip distance apart and then sit your bum back and down. So already less effort for me. So I'm now using the correct muscles rather than maybe straining through my lower back, I think, for me. So my ankles are starting to feel a lot more mobile as I do that. Right, so what we're going to add on to this is now your balance training. So you're going to flip the hog round. You could do this on a yoga block, or if you don't have any of that kit, just do the balance moves with me on a stable surface. This is an unstable surface, which is brilliant. We need to test our balance and mobilize through the ankles. So we're going to step up safely onto the hog. The hog is rocking forwards and backwards, FYI, anyone out there who's using a hog right now. And I'm going to take my feet about hip distance apart and just try and balance out that hog. Level it out is the better word to use. Level the hog, sorry. My teaching wasn't very clear there. And let's try and sit down and then come up. So at first it's a little bit scary. You may need a wall or a chair in front of you. So we're going to come down to where you feel you can go, and I'm going to press down forward. So now it's like I'm doing high heels again. So I'm going to come down pretty low and I'm going to rock the hog forwards, and then I'm going to level it out, but I'm going to try and keep my butt down. So rock the hog forwards and then level out that hog. I feel a lot of quad work coming in here as well, which is excellent. Recruiting good muscle groups here. We love it. And level out that hog, trying to keep your butt down. Point, press down, press down, press down, and then stand up nice and tall. Excellent job. And then step off the vehicle. Whew. So flip the hog round this way. So now it's rocking like that. You will only stand on the hog with one foot for this bit, please. So never with two. Health and safety. So your right foot's going to go on top in the center of that hog. Just take your time and then shift your torso forward. So now your shoulders are over your hips, hips over knees, knees over ankles, ankles over toes. Yeah, that's it. So finding your balance there. Finding your balance. And then you may want to take the arms out to the sides or keep the hands on the pelvis, totally up to you. And let's move the leg into alignment. Let's flex the ankle. Let's see active through that ankle. And we're going to float the leg out to the side and bring it in. Standing strong on your supporting leg, drawing the abdominals gently in. Well, they are reacting here right now. Your abs are a lot cleverer than you. And then let's draw the knee up, then out to the side, and then back. I mean, the combinations are endless here. You could be using weights on standing on this hog. You could be using a resistance band. All sorts. It's just a nice little element to add to your sessions. Something we don't do, huh? And then let's hinge forwards. I'm going to bend my knee. And now I'm going to be a little bit more unstable here. Oh, good. Then I'm going to take my arms out in front of me. And I'm going to try and bring my knee in. And take it back. And in. And take it back. So I've got to trying my best to get a good knee flexion here. Ankle. Hip, come on legs. So my focal point right now is a dot on the floor. If you're wondering how are you able to stay there, try that for me. Don't look at the screen. Keep your focus. And then bring yourself back up. Hold it there for a moment. And then take the arms out in front of you. So let's start off with just the right arm opening out to the side. So this would be a level 1. And notice we talked about a focal point earlier, so now I'm going to add the hand as a focal point. Oh, this ain't easy. And come back. So my eyes are going to follow the hand. Wow. And then, oops, you see there, tough. And then step down. And already you feel a bit more glute engagement there. Working through the ankles, the knees and the hip. Let's do side 2. So standing on your hog, grab a drink if you need it. Let's come up nice and slow, shift your weight. And it's also interesting to see which is your weaker side, because this will definitely highlight that. So let's find our weight through the center there, lifting up and out through the spine as the teacher adjusts their clothing. And then bring the leg out to the side. And then open the arms out. Let's draw the shoulders down. Put the shoulder blades back in their home. Flex the ankle. And let's start to move the leg out to the side. Then to the front. Side. And to the back. Breathing normally. Keep your focus. Try and keep that hog as level as possible. You maybe want to lift the knee, if that's what I did on the other side. Okay, so now take the leg out to the back, hinge forwards or bow forwards, bend your left knee, float the arms out there. And you're going to bend it in and out. And I can see for me, for my body, this left knee does not like staying in alignment here. So I'm trying to push my knee ever so slightly out towards my baby toe on this side as I go. Try and get a nice deep bend. Think of your foot melting into the hog as you do this. Yeah, that's brilliant. And I'm definitely getting a bit of glute medius here, which I love. Really good to help support the knees as well. Adrian's wobbling a lot. And then bring yourself back up. Yes, this is my voice. I can't change it. So, let's open the left arm out to the side. Definitely feeling it a lot more on this side. Obviously, this is my weaker side, man. So now we're going to turn our head. Wow. And bring it back in. And I don't know if you can see this on your screen, but I'm wobbling a lot as I do this. So my body's having to, my ankle's having to adjust and adapt to this uneven surface, which we need. We are challenging ourselves. Can I do one more? Yes, I can. Really working, lift up and out through the spine. And then come on down. Whew. and give a little shake out. Oh my goodness me. Did you feel that? I felt that in those glutes. Great. So let's move this hog out the way. Bend your knees, move that hog out the way. And let's go back into some squats and just test the water and see how that felt. And actually, I'm squatting for my body. Please don't judge. I mean, we've all got different physiology, deviations, etc. And this is, the best my body can do at the moment. And it's all about consistency. We want to keep doing these exercises and release that. Give a little shake out. So how I stretch my glute. So I'm going to cross my leg over. You could do the seated on the chair, or lay down on your back with a pillow behind your head for support. And I'm going to just sit back, ankle away from knee bone, and just gently press down there. Feel a great stretch through my glute. And then come up. Let's do the same on the other side. So we cross that leg over, and then you press down. Ooh, and this was the side I felt for me, and I can definitely feel the stretch a lot more on this side. And then release that. Give it a little shake out. So I'm hoping you enjoyed watching this. If you did and you found it really interesting, please drop me a little message. Thank you so much for even spending the time watching this. My name's Adrian, and thank you for being here with me today. See you soon.